right.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I recently, my son and I, we bought a house in Jackson, Mississippi, and we signed the contract on December the 15th. Well, when we came to the house to celebrate, we found out that the sewer was broke, so the house didn't have any connections for the sewer. We have a tap line problem, so after like a month of negotiations with the seller, he finally was able to repair the tap line.
Okay.
My question is, like, do you have any legal grounds as far as going after the agents because they didn't disclose this problem to us?
Great
and
question,
the
Amy.
seller.
Great question. Matthew, what do you think?
Yeah, Amy, it is. I've actually handled something like that just a couple weeks ago. First place we have to look, Amy, is what disclosures you were provided when the sale was made. Typically, with any kind of home sale, there's an inspection that goes along. A home inspector does a detailed report with pictures, so I would refer to that because they would address that. And then you would look at also the disclosures from the real estate agent. So the first place you always have to look in those kind of things is the paperwork. So what did the paperwork tell you or not tell you? But absolutely, you'd be entitled to know. I tell you, that should have come up on an inspection, and if it didn't, somebody should be responsible for that. So if so, yeah, you could look for someone to kind of make that right.
Well, the home inspection, Matt, it's supposed to be your safety net there.
Absolutely.
That way, because not all of us can peer behind the walls and figure out all this stuff.
That's what you're paying for, Amy, and that's what they're supposed to check. They're supposed to for electrical systems, the roof, the water system, HVAC. They're supposed to check all that so you don't get a lemon, so you know what you're getting. And if there's, listen, those things, the inspection reports generally don't come back perfect. They usually come back with a couple of things, but at least you know what the couple of those things are.
Right.
It's not, oh my gosh, I don't have electricity. Oh my gosh, I don't have a sewer line.
Yeah, it's pretty important.
So the first place I would look is the inspection report. And I know you had to have one. That thing's going to be about 25 pages long, and it should have accompanying photographs, but that's the first place I'd look. And if that missed it or was wrong or if it was silent, then that inspector has a problem. Because I tell you, you paid for it too, by the way. In part of your closing documents, you paid for that report. So I'd look there first.
Matt, let's kind of spin it forward for Amy here. Let's say it was in the inspection report, and let's figure out who kind of messed this up on this one. Does she need a lawyer on this one, or do you go to justice court? Can she handle this one on her own?
Well, you know,
it's kind of right there on the line, isn't it?
You know, she can try. Listen, I'm an optimist, and I always like to think people do the right thing.
Right.
You know, if they make a mistake, you know, in my world, the perfect world that I wished I lived in. Don't say anything.
I know
that's right. That Amy could just call the inspector and say,
hey,
"Hello, my friend.
Right.
Look what you missed." And I know you're going to come in and make that right, and hopefully they would. Now, if they don't, then that's when you have to call me.
Right. Because
so
this feels a little complicated. If you
it can be. No, it can be. And honestly, what'll happen is a lot of times what'll happen is the inspector say, "Oh, I got to come look at that again," and "Oh, it wasn't that way when I looked at it." So it depends on kind of the response you get from the inspector.
Gotcha.
But I would certainly give them the opportunity to do the right thing. But if they don't, absolutely, a lot of lawyers out there, and that'd be an easy one, Amy. So not to worry.
Amy, thank you so much for the call tonight on our comeback show, our first show of the new year.
Season 12.
That's what they tell me.
That's what they're saying.
That's hard to believe.